Despite coming out over a decade ago, Lisa the Painful still stands as one of my favorite games of all time. I've already gushed about it in its own video, but to recap, it handled its story in this really innovative way. Not only was it this tragic and refreshingly human exploration on addiction and broken homes, but it used its gameplay to make you deal with the choices you made in the story. Items were scarce, characters could die, and a debilitating withdrawal status effect could hit you at any time if you weren't able to take pills. It all works to make you feel the exaggerated swagger of an alcoholic in a way few other choices matter games have managed. But despite the way I and the culture at large see the game, I couldn't help but feel a little disenchanted looking back. Take away the withdrawal and permadeath, both of which you don't really have to engage with outside the first area, and what do you have left? This rather earthboundy series of disconnected, quirky events that somehow lead to the plot. Like, why is Buddy in this cave behind Ronald McDonald? How did her and Buzzo get past the guards? Do the Joy Boys have some kind of deal going on with the cultists? Are they occupying it as some sort of strategic choke point? If so, the game sure doesn't let you know about it. These issues are excusable given Lisa was the first game to really try this kind of storytelling, but it's hard to excuse how, after a decade, basically none of the games purported to be inspired by Lisa have improved on or even reached its level of connection between story and gameplay. Except, of course, Lisa the Pointless. It's a free fan game made by a large team, spearheaded by some guy from Eastern Europe named Ed. The story goes that he was disappointed with Painful's sequel, The Joyful. Joyful's been critically maligned for not only having a less connected story and gameplay, but with both of those elements being individually weaker than its predecessor. So Ed decided to make his own sequel, expanding on the idea of a world without women by exploring how it affects everyone existentially, being the last generation of humanity in a pointless world. To this end, it's a lot more thematically cohesive than Painful. The game starts you off on Garbage Island, this disgusting, wretched shithole where dreams go to die. Everywhere you look, it's garbage and vomit and losers. To most people, this would be hell, but to the people living here, it's home. They all genuinely believe there's nothing better for them out there, and the three that actually want off the island make up our starting party. Alex, Joel, and all coming together to get off Garbage Island and find the city, the last true bastion of civilization. The residents of Garbage Island consider it to be a myth, one everyone will die chasing, and they have a point. As the game goes on, the settlements you find are overrun by the supernatural cult of murderers, killing everyone in sight. And from here on out, you're going to be ending every battle with basically zero resources, facing setback after setback as the game starves you for money and items. Playing it, you can feel Alex's hopelessness in the same way you could feel Brad's anxiety. Admittedly, it can border on frustratingly bullshit, and I'd be lying if I said it wasn't a better art piece than it was a game, but seeing it through the eyes of a game dev this time, there's a level of design here I can really appreciate. Your best skills, the ones that can stun or do insane damage, cost a hell of a lot, and even when you can use them, there's rarely a guarantee it'll actually inflict the status effect you want it to. This forces you to be like Alex and deal with your setbacks, utilizing your weaker skills and actually engaging with the enemy on their turn, which was a huge issue with the original Painful. Obviously, losing 20 minutes of your life to a fight you couldn't have prepared for is as common as it is fucking stupid, but the tension helps to make all the little glimmers of humanity you find more memorable. When the artist you helped revives you against a boss, or these guys let you eat their food for free, you feel the relief of a helping hand. They're not just helping the characters in the story, they're helping you win the game. It's very intentionally designed and allows it to explore those themes of desperate struggle in ways Painful wasn't even capable of, and nothing shows this increased focus on themes better than the game's protagonists. Painful's intro is the most gripping thing I've ever seen in a game. It's this emotional roller coaster that immediately motivates Brad and the player, while still being really subtle in its depiction of these insanely dark themes. But it's also the most we really get in terms of Brad's character. Sure, we get more details and flashbacks, I guess, but they're rarely anything we don't already know from the intro. It's clear he's meant to be more of a simple, reactive protagonist, doing whatever the game needs him to in order to get the intended reaction, but this leads to large swaths of the game where you're just supposed to disregard his actions as not seriously a part of the story. Because if you did, you'd have to ask yourself a couple of questions. Like, why does this decision reflect on Brad's character but not this or this? I think Austin's writing benefits from not having to worry about these kinds of details, but if you're looking to succeed Painful, these are the kinds of questions you need to be asking yourself. And you can see the way Pointless addressed these questions with Alex. His life isn't as miserable as Brad's, but it allows him a lot more opportunity to assert himself over the narrative. Whereas Brad was mostly dealing with the consequences of others' actions, Alex is the one who starts his story. He decides to get off Garbage Island. He decides to be nice to people, and every time he decides to kill someone, the game very clearly acknowledges it. There's never a point where his actions in the story and gameplay disconnect or are supposed to be selectively disregarded. Like, yeah, I can believe the guy who I can make beat several people to death wouldn't be especially concerned with what happens at the dinner party. My favorite instance of Alex's character has to be in the tournament flashback. Despite Alex's childlike joy seemingly following him throughout his entire life, he does break at one point. A point where his naive optimism actively screwed him over and threw his entire life off the rails. Growing up, his family never had the money to get him professional martial arts training, with everything he learned coming from some phony VHS tape his aunt got him at a thrift store. Despite this, it became such a part of his identity that he not only got with his girlfriend over it, but also entered into a professional martial arts tournament. Unsurprisingly, he gets completely bodied first match, and he takes the loss so personally that it completely derails his entire life until he ends up as the man he is today. Now, it's one thing to see this happen in a cutscene, to see him bitch and moan and be sad, and for most games that'd be it. But in Pointless, you get to play out the whole sequence, putting in all the effort to set up your moves only for this jackass to completely negate it for free. This is the scene where Alex invents his strongest move in the game, the Minor Iris, a move that, in the present, completely nukes every enemy you come across. But here, against this guy, nothing. By the 4th round, you can start to sense a pattern. You're not winning, at least not under the fall once and you die rules of the tournament. And that's when it hits you, a trick kick. Break his fucking balls. Kick him so hard that his kids get erased from the timeline. If you're gonna go down anyway, you're gonna go down showing him that this phony rule set isn't to protect you, it's to protect him. I never ended up actually using the skill, just taking the loss anyway, but the fact the game even prompts you with this does so much for Alex's character. He isn't some paragon hero, he's just some kid who got old. It's a totally perfect use of storytelling in a video game, and I'm fucking stealing it for my own. Anyone can tell you a game's themes, but the way they're told is the kind of stuff I'm personally taking away from Pointless. It was made by people who want more of what they like, but were willing to criticize it at the same time. It's not perfect, and I don't think you can ever make a direct upgrade to something that's already great, but in a market saturated with games directly copying their inspirations one for one, a literally free fan game having a near decade of staying power says a lot about what you can accomplish with a strong artistic vision. Over that decade, we've also gotten a bunch of teasers for the game's upcoming updates and chapters. There's a lot more emphasis on the graphics and writing, which are absurdly high quality for a free fan game, but we also haven't seen anything from the actual gameplay, which has me concerned.
I haven't done any of this, by the way.
No, this is, just so you at home know, we haven't touched the controller for 45 minutes.
Still, I think these guys have done enough hard work to where whatever comes out of this is going to be worth checking out. I've been kind of hoping Serenity Forge would do something similar to the whole Fazbear fanverse thing, because these guys totally deserve the money. But having spent enough time in both fandoms, I can imagine why they wouldn't want to.